of your games on the schedule where you can't play at the All-Star game. So the 85% of the games before the All-Star game, if you don't play in them, you can't be in the All-Star game. Guys have bonuses tied to that. You can't win a scoring title, any individual title, unless you play 85% of the games. You can't be All-NBA if you don't play 85% of the games. And that goes to not only today in bonuses, that's a legacy thing. Now, the downside of that is I did it this morning. I went and looked, what would this morning my first team All-NBA team look like in the NBA? First team's not bad. Trae Young and DeMar DeRozan backcourt. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins forward. I know you say Andrew Wiggins, but Giannis didn't play enough games. Kevin Durant didn't play enough games. Anthony Davis didn't play enough games. And Jokic, MVP candidate center. Got to play 85% of the games. You can't make All-NBA. You can't make any award. You can't go to the three-point shooting contest, dunk contest, All-Star game. Here's the second team. Then it gets a little cringy. LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Tobias Harris, Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns. But again, if you're Giannis and you only make a handful, 2 or 3 All-NBA teams, he wants to make 10 of those things.
I mean, the MVP conversation would change dramatically as well.
It's out. Jokic wins.
Yeah.
Jokic is the MVP. So you can't win an MVP, a scoring title. You can't be an All-Star. You cannot be All-NBA. Those awards, they're incentivizing bonuses.
Would you remove COVID as an exception for missing
Well,
games?
I mean, I think pandemics changed everything. right. So
I think this is an interesting strategy because I think that those things matter.
Oh, MVPs?
Not just for bonuses, but I mean that's tied to your future contracts but these are the players that fans are seeing. That's the point.
Yeah, and you say
They're
how
the ones
can
that
you
are playing.
How can you say Andrew Wiggins? He's there every night. Listen, you don't have to do this in the NFL. I went and looked at all pro NFL teams this morning. Those guys play 15, 16, 17 games. NBA, this is where we're at. So you got to do something. You can't just sit there and pretend it's not happening. Adam Silver, to his credit, said it's an issue. Hour 2 now.
This weekend.
That is nice. Let me throw this at you. Is that you played with Chris Paul. And I always loved Chris because I thought he was old school. He was feisty. He was tough. He would bark at players. And I said last year, with Phoenix, I said, those young guys will get barked at for a while. But once they start getting the bag, they may not want to hear old Chris Paul barking at them. Are you surprised how smoothly Chris and Phoenix have been since he arrived, Stephen? It has just been win after win after win.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when everybody buys in. I think a lot of the guys there looked up to Chris, regardless of what was said about him. They know he's a winner. They know he's a guy that plays hard and comes to work every night, regardless of what people say about him. And he's a great leader. And those guys respect him, regardless if he's barking for a reason. And when you have a whole team buy in, when you have a coach like Monty Williams that guys rely on and respect, this is what happens. And that's what happens in every winning organization.
Now, over in the East, people are speculating about the KD Kyrie team. And here's probably my pushback. Man, they don't play much together. They haven't gone on a long winning streak. I'm not saying they don't have great halves. But, Stephen, if you haven't won 7-8 games in a row in a regular season, I have a hard time embracing you as a really great, valid title contender. I know Durant and Kyrie are remarkable. What do you make of them?
I agree with you on that. I mean, it's hard to say that because a lot of times, and me knowing from experience, going into the playoffs, everything has to be rolling for your team to have success in the playoffs. You know, at the end of the season, everybody has to be healthy. The team has to be on at least a good winning feel about how they're playing going into the playoffs to even have success in the playoffs. So I understand that. But if I had to go into the playoffs with any team that's discombobulated and any players that's discombobulated and have confidence in the team, it would be the Nets with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
You know, we said this the other day about Kevin Durant on the show. I said he may not say it publicly, but Ben Simmons isn't there. James Harden quit. Kyrie couldn't play home games. And if he was back with Golden State right now, they would be a handful. Do you think he's ever had a moment privately where he's thought, damn, what did I do?
I'm sure he has. I mean, we all make decisions. Some we regret, some we don't. But at the end of the day, he's still one of the best players we've ever seen play the game. You know, multiple champion, multiple Finals MVP. So, you know, I don't think he has any regrets. We all, even with decision makers that I've made in my career, you know, with walking away from teams and not want to play with teams. There's some things we regret. But if you do it your way for the most part, and you respect the game and play the game the way it's supposed to be played, which he has done, it's hard to have any regrets or to even think about things like that when you're having a great career.
What would you do if you ran the Lakers? A couple years ago, they won the title in the bubble, and AD came back the following year after summer out of shape. And in the building, LeBron was really discouraged. Vogel was really discouraged. He's never been known as a grinder. That's not his style. In fact, he doesn't even want to play the five. He wants to go out and shoot jumpers. What do you do with AD? Because Stephen, if they keep bringing back AD, you're going to have injuries. He's not going to be a grinder. He doesn't have your leadership qualities. You know what I mean? Like, my thing is, I would have moved off him 2 years ago. I'm in the minority. What do you do with him going forward with the Lakers?
You know, I'm right there with you. You know, I was a guy that was saying he's a more athletic Tim Duncan, but I gotta take my words back because, you know, even though I know Tim played injured, but Tim took care of his body. You know, even when we playing paintball all summer with Tim practicing in like UFC fighting, he took care of his body. He worked out all year, and Tim wasn't muscular. Tim wasn't just a big strong guy that just his muscles popping out everywhere. But he played, and he stayed healthy, and he played a lot of games. So. But for AD, I just don't think that he take care of his body. He takes the game serious as other guys. I think he's just talented, naturally talented. And if I was the Lakers, you know, I would start looking at different ways. I never thought Vogel was a coach. From year one, I've been said this from year one. When you put a healthy AD and a healthy LeBron together, it's going to be easy to win the championship as long as they're healthy in any year. But when you have to coach, when you have guys injured, when you have to throw guys in and out the lineup, then we see what type of coach you are. And obviously, he hasn't been successful in that. So, but if I was the Lakers, if AD doesn't take his body serious, if we can't sit down and have a conversation and understand how serious these last years for LeBron are to him and to this organization, if AD can't jump on board, you have to move him.
You know, you played with Duncan. Great players in their prime. LeBron, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. When a great player's in his prime, there often are veterans who will take a little less. They've got their money. They want a ring. They want to go on the road. They want to get on that plane after another win. Do you think really talented players in the league view LeBron as the kind of guy they'd take less to play with, or is that ship sailed?
I don't think it's sailed. I think more guys want to be around LeBron and be his friend off the court than actually play basketball with him. You know, me personally, you know, as great as LeBron is, I would love to play with LeBron because I know he'll make the game easy for me, and I know we have a great chance to win a championship if I do my job. But think about it. When we won a championship in '03, let's look at the vets we had that wasn't making money. We had Steve Kerr, Danny Ferry, Steve Smith. David Robinson wasn't really making that much in his career. We also had Kevin Willis. We had all these veterans that was taking low contracts just to win a championship. I don't think guys respect winning the championship that more as much as they did when I was playing. And I don't think it's really too much as LeBron. I just think guys rather make the money and be comfortable just playing, and win is not as important no more.
You know, it's funny. Adam Silver, during his State of the Union this week, acknowledged it's a problem in the NBA. Many of the best players are simply missing too many games. You tell me, how would you incentivize players to play more? What would you do?
It's hard to once they sign their name on their contract. You've been around a long time. When I was playing, it was an honor to play 82. We fought to play 82, broken toes, anything. We fought to play 82 because that was something that you hung your hat on. These days, I think guys are just worrying about getting to the playoffs and playing well in the playoffs. And to me, that's disrespecting the game. You give the game all you have. The fans are there giving you all they have. You're making all this money. Respect the game, and the game will respect you. And I think that's why I had a career. I wasn't the most great career. I wasn't the most athletic and the best basketball player, but I respected the game. And respecting the game always put me in great situations. So I think if guys get back to the old school, respecting the game and not worrying about being there at the end and just playing the whole way, most of the time when you get injured, it's because you're thinking about getting injured. And that's just the truth of the game.
Yeah. 14 years. Podcast All the Smoke. Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes. Good seeing you, my man. Congrats on all your success. You're crushing it.
Appreciate it. Good to see you, man.
Steve Jackson, Fox Sports NBA analyst as well. Yeah, Adam Silver has